DP World exists to make the world's trade flow better. In Canada, we are more than just containers and cranes. We are an end-to-end supply chain service provider, and we're with you every step of the way. We're strategically placed coast to coast in Canada, providing seamless connections to extend your reach around the globe. We create sustainable solutions powered by innovation, providing more opportunities for Canadian businesses and communities. Our transparent, cost-effective solutions, combined with our extensive partnerships and our global network spanning 73 countries, enable us to move your cargo quickly, efficiently, and securely. At DP World, we're reshaping the future and changing what's possible for everyone.
Hello, everyone. Hello. I know the room is abuzz, but we're going to have to bring this together because we are going to start the Port Days 2024 Luncheon. And we are so proud today to have one of the key partners at this port who has transformed our port in St. John, New Brunswick to be one of the most important strategic seaports in all of North America. We have Mr. Doug Smith, the CEO of DP World Canada, to build on what we started last year with Mr. Keith Creel, the President and CEO of CPKC, to tell the story and the journey of infrastructure investments and growth that has started the greatest comeback story in the history of the Port of St. John. From a Port Authority perspective, we shared at the AGM yesterday, in a short decade, we've doubled our revenues. We've made $250 million of infrastructure investment at the Port of St. John, and the private sector partners, many of whom are sitting right at that table, Mr. Jim Irving and the J.D. Irving group of companies. We have Jordan from CPKC and all of his colleagues in the room today. We heard from Val a little bit earlier. We have DP World and other partners that have made over $500 million of private sector investment on top of that $250 million. We've taken our container business from 50 to 60,000 TEUs when DP World started in 2017, and in 7 short years, we have hit over 150,000 TEUs, with much more to come very soon. I've been so fortunate to be president and CEO for the last 2.5 years and be at the port for 13. And I've witnessed firsthand what this means to the community when more people are working on the waterfront and having good paying jobs. Jobs that transform a middle class in a way that we haven't seen for decades. We have reverse trends. If we had graphs here, we could show you we have reverse trends that are generational. And we're just getting started. So today, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Doug Smith. His bio is available by clicking on your card at the table. He has had a career that has spanned multi-decades. The last 21 years, he has been abroad working in countries all over the world. He has come to Canada within the last year with his wife, Liz, and we are so fortunate to have them in our country and in our port. And Doug, you're more than just a colleague. You've become a great friend and partner of the Port of St. John. And together, you're going to hear a story today that the Port Authority is 100% behind. We're daring to dream, just as we did a decade ago. And we are looking at even bigger ships and more investment that are going to propel this port forward into the future. Doug, please come to the stage.
Well, that's a heck of an intro to follow. Thank you very much, Craig, for that intro. I hope I live up to expectations. This has been pushing a lot of things, but I fully echo what Craig is saying. We see very high opportunity here in St. John, and I'd like to take you through that today. And I'm very honored and delighted to be able to speak to everyone today, and it's a full room. So very nice, very impressive. As Craig mentioned, I'm relatively new to DP World. I joined just over 11 months ago, coming from an extensive career overseas. But as I always like to see, and I have experienced around the world, that just being new doesn't mean it's a first-time experience. For me, this is only the second time I've been in St. John. but for my wife, it's her third. Didn't know it at the time, but I heard about this beautiful place she visited while sailing in on the Queen Mary 2. And I happened to be in Russia. I couldn't join, so I didn't know. But we found out about a year ago when I was driving in, because it was easier to drive in than fly in. But driving in, coming over the hill, we see these cranes, and it was so great to come over that hill, see the cranes, and go, wow, there's our operation. And my wife goes, I know this place. I've been here. I know this. So this is someplace that has actually been in our history and between my wife and I, well before we even got here. Never knew that this would be something that would be back on 5 years ago, be involved with the port, and be in this great opportunity to grow it and expand it. It's with a bit of an understatement that, of course, I've been eager to come back to see this location and to really talk about why this city and port are a critical part of DP World's efforts to provide a seamless supply chain and solution that is truly end-to-end. As we all know, and Craig mentioned a little bit that in his speech, St. John has a history of learning to adapt, shifting economies by being nimble, by thinking ahead, and by developing critical relationships. You could say the same about DP World. I'm incredibly proud of the company I work for, and in fact, I want to tell you more about that today. I also want to tell you why we're so excited about this relationship with the Port of St. John and how together we'll keep this incredible city and region open to the world. Of course, we won't and we can't do this alone. When I look around this room, I see plenty of reasons to be optimistic about our collective future. The entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well here. And thank you to MP Wayne Long, Mr. Irving, and the countless other partners around the room for being here and for your ongoing friendship and support. So now, let's dive in. First, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on how we got here. As a port city, there's no question St. John has huge advantages. From the location, available land, access to 3 Class 1 railroads, enthusiastic partners like big shipping lines, and a very skilled workforce. Having this potential is not something new. There's been a history of development and to build on those advantages, as can be seen in these historical photos, ranging from 56 through 84. It is also not new to have people very interested in taking these opportunities forward. Mr. K.C. Irving is well known for doing exactly that. Setting the stage of growth with Irving Oil and several other businesses, he clearly saw the potential in St. John by opening the first deep water terminal in the Western Hemisphere that connected the refinery to crude suppliers around the world. Without such leaders and many others along the way, we would not be where we are today. These actions were great steps forward in creating a strong foundation from which we can grow even further, which is what DP World would like to be the partner in driving forward. Doing so requires attracting more clients, opportunities, and expanding trade corridors, and this is where the power of partnership comes into focus. Together with the Port Authority, the province of New Brunswick, and the federal government, we set about the first part of modernization of the Port of St. John over the past few years. That first phase of that modernization was completed last year. Then the modernization enhancement projects, which we can see going on right now, is nearing completion, filling in the back areas and gaining more yard. This multi-phase process was largely focused on enhancing critical infrastructure. We brought in 2 new cranes, we built a new berth, we built a truck gate, and added in a new terminal operating system, what I would call Terminal 101. If you want to be world-class, you got to have a baseline. We've built the baseline. Of course, already these improvements are having an impact on our capacity, on our volume and jobs, and local businesses like Crosby's, who's been in business for 145 years handling food-grade products in the port, like this. Good to know our customers. DP World has assisted Crosby in optimizing its supply chain to increase efficiency and reduce costs to their clientele. This strategic partnership, I went too far. Not supposed to see that yet. This strategic partnership empowered Crosby's to expand its business in flexi containers and reinforce Crosby's position as a trusted leader in the liquid bulk industry. We have seen growth year over year in their volumes, and in 2024, we expect to handle over 400 flexi containers. The key advantage here is our access to an open, deep water port with minimal congestion, allowing us to efficiently combine multiple supply chain logistics. To become a world-class terminal, we need three things: a year-round open deep water port, access to major highways, and efficient rail sidings. This year, we invested in a rail siding service by 3 Class 1 rail lines, completing the essential requirements of all three. All told, these investments add up to over $300 million. Without question, they are helping make this terminal a world-class asset. But we are not done yet. Given the history of ups and downs, it'd be fair to ask, what is truly different now? What are we bringing to the table? How is this any different than the previous investors and what's happened 10, 20 years ago? Well, let me answer that first by telling a quick story. When I think of St. John, I think of the Golden Jubilee diamond. I don't know if anyone in the room is familiar with that. Probably not. It's actually the largest cut and faceted diamond in the world at 546 carats. And no, I'm not planning to buy that anytime soon. But it's not the diamond itself that comes to the story, even though that rings true on many levels. It's the process of cutting it. This diamond was found in 1985, but largely unknown till 1990. The gem cutter stared at it for 6 months, trying to figure out the best way to get the largest diamond out of that uncut gem. Studying it day in, day out. Best way to take it forward. Then they set up a special room with special cutting technology to cut it, which took 2 more years. Sounds really familiar to port development. And that's what I think of. I think about what it is to realize. What is to realize that potential? I mean, in uncut form, that diamond already had inherent value and worth. But with investing in it properly, it became even more. And it became the renowned largest cut and faceted diamond. The road for St. John success is similar. It requires taking the time and being able to see the challenges and opportunities in a different light. To see the core potential and provide a path that brings the greatest value. Like the Golden Jubilee diamond, pre-1990, St. John is not widely known about yet. But with the right focus and investment on the core potential, we can bring about the full value. The natural deep water here, which Mr. Irving realized 50 years ago, is one of those cores that is not easily replicated or copied along the East Coast, as seen by this slide I put up a little too soon earlier. I'll give a second just to take that in for a second. Our competition is not able to deepen those numbers. It's in their channel. They can deepen alongside the berth. The channels are restricted. Okay? Now, there's a variety of reasons of that. Not to get in too detailed, but feel free to Google that and look that up. I've told every shipping line to do the same. And they've come back with conversations because of that. Having worked in the US well before going overseas, I'm very familiar with these locations. Of course, by itself, deep water does not guarantee success. This is just an attribute. It's that uncut gem. It's great potential, but what are we going to do with it? How do we make it more? So then the real question is, how best do we do that? Realizing this potential requires solid sides or pillars, like facets on the diamond, to bring out the best value and attract the customers. For DP World, these are 4 pivotal sides: our safety, sustainability, innovation, and end-to-end solutions. First is safety. This is more than just policies and procedures. This is about real risk reduction and elimination. It's about creating a visible and felt safety environment. You know it when you walk in the terminal. It's more than PPE and signage. It goes beyond that. We have an effective peer review culture that everyone cares about everyone else, wants people to go home safely, and we are one team on the waterfront. And we're always reviewing to improve. We recognize this is a journey. It's not perfection, but we're always striving for it. And that, by doing that, gives us a solid operation that our customers can be proud to be part of. It gives us the right to operate. Next is making sure we have effective sustainability. While this is generally referred to more in an environmental standpoint and perspective, and it has a lot of worth in that area, it is more than that. At DP World, we are very focused in on the environment and our CO2 reductions. We have plans to reduce them, as this slide is reflecting. Right now, we have over a 47% improvement plan up to 2030. And a little more in the future, we're going to get that down to 0. But again, sustainability is more than this. We're fully committed to this, but it's more than that. It's about being focused on our communities in which we operate, being part of their growth, growing the ecosystem that provides opportunities well beyond the terminal gates. This includes building stronger and meaningful relationships with First Nations, and in creating business model that is not short-term solution, but one that has value, core value for decades to come, that attracts it, wants to be, and is sustainable by definition of the word, well beyond just environmental. Of course, once you have those two, to make any business properly scalable, now we talk innovation and technology. This ranges from basic Wi-Fi to EDI, to predictive analytics and digital twins. And again, that's the baseline. But like sustainability, this is both within and outside along the entire logistics chain. It's not just about the terminal having high tech. It's about creating this technology and deploying this technology for solutions that make the entire process more efficient and safer while increasing the ease of doing business for all our customers. It's not doing it for the sake of it. It's doing it driving value. And that's a big shift in some areas. Sometimes it's been tech for show. It's been, look what I have. And it never really materializes where it needs to be. The tech we're talking about is actually sustainable with value that has a reason. Make it easier. Make it easier to interface with your customers. Ease of doing business. Or as with my ADHD, if it takes more than 3 clicks, I'm wondering why I'm on that web page. So, needless to say, you can hear one of our internal KPIs. The fourth is about bringing it all together as an end-to-end solution. And again, this is more than just being a high-performing terminal. While it's essential to have a terminal operations that is running at optimal levels for our customers, that efficiency must be maintained through to our customer's door, the entire logistics chain. Working a vessel at 30, 40 moves an hour doesn't mean anything if the container sits along the chain 3, 4 extra days and doesn't get to our customer's door. This is how DP World sees trade in a holistic way. To be a true world leader, get off that one, we need to provide maximum value for our clients. This means making every step in the supply chain as seamless and efficient as possible, both for our clients and ultimately benefiting everyone from producer to end user. This is our vision and our brand promise. Delivering this takes strong partnerships, communications, and integrated supply lines, like Robert Dick was talking about earlier. Something we are already in the process of delivering, such as our current and future potential actions with both CN and CPKC. We recognized there was opportunities to create greater efficiencies and started an exchange program between employees of CN and DP World. Something as simple as understanding the other side of the fence, understanding how they see the world versus how we see the world. Or as my team understands when I say operational definition. You think of a chair, I think of a chair. I guarantee you it's not the same chair, but we're using the same word. Think about that with your KPIs. Think about that when you work with a customer. So we think we're talking the same language. We think we're on the same wavelength because we have the same word. But it's not the same thing. And recognizing that and continuing that, we're expanding with this, and we'll be sharing data. We'll be integrating technology. We'll be creating an ops center, and we'll be looking at better forecasting. We're doing the same thing in the early days with CPKC. Again, to bring us together, the collaboration is what makes our supply chain stronger. Our planned strategic partnership with Americold is another good example of integrated supply chains going beyond just terminal services. It not only benefits many New Brunswick companies shipping food products, such as seafood, frozen vegetables, and meals, it means more job opportunities for people in St. John. It also helps anchor the port as a core partner in the supply chain. We are all very excited to get this started and working together to leverage this cold storage in new ways. Hopefully an announcement will come out in the near future on that. Bringing all this together with a strong collaboration and partnership is what will set a well-defined value proposition for St. John and solidify its continued growth plan. One that could potentially result in further expansion of the terminal to look something like this one day. The only thing missing is the extra 6 cranes. It's a nice potential. I'll give it a second to just look. I don't have a pointer, but notice the ships off to the left side, the berth. While this slide represents the container business, I think it's also important to notice we're in similar discussions around growing potash, which we heard this morning in a panel, and around ro-ro and pulp, and other opportunities at the same time. This is a holistic approach to grow St. John, to grow it together and properly with sustainable and scalable growth. We are committed to making this happen, not going anywhere, because St. John is a critical component of our broader vision. When we, meaning all of us here in this room today, bring this properly together, the port will transition from that uncut gem into that priceless diamond we all know is possible. If we are all aligned in our vision of what St. John can become, what we need to do now is form those larger partnerships. Our focus within DP World is on growing the Canadian economy by recognizing our real competition. And it's not each other. Our value to the end customers is driven through our ability to collaborate, embrace innovation, and optimize the entire logistics chain. To make this happen, we need everyone on board, especially those of you in this room today. I was supposed to bring that up a second ago. I'm off of my slides. Apologies. I believe St. John can become an essential part of the Canadian supply chain, and we are just at the beginning of that journey. The success of that journey depends on all of us, and I look forward to your support in making that happen. Thank you.